Okay everybody, we're back in the mess of Nick Dutch's kitchen and we're going to do some rather messy cookery kind of thing. Part of my continued desire to try and have bread, considering that I am sugar-free, gluten-free, yeast-free and dairy-free. There are very few recipes online which actually contain or exclude all of those different issues and you can use to make a bread. But I'm going to try and make one today that fits my requirements. This is one of the ingredients, brown linseed. I'm going to use that to make the egg substitute. Gluten-free plain white flour is another ingredient. White bread making flour is another ingredient. Graham flour, being made with chickpeas, is another ingredient. As far as raising agents are concerned, cream of tartar and standard bicarbonate of soda. Right, and I'll probably add a sprinkle of salt as well. Now the process is like this. I take 2 tablespoons of linseed. I grind it in my coffee grinder there, and that will make a very fine linseed. I then soak that in any plastic container with 6 tablespoons of water. That's the first thing I do. Then I use my cup measures. This is my 1 cup measure, and I measure out 1 cup each of the white bread making flour, white plain flour and the graham flour. The reason I don't use just white bread flour is this is going to be a soda bread. And that's best because it's got tons of gluten substitute. It's better for a yeast-based bread, not for a soda bread. So you need to water down the extra gluten substitutes. Okay. Then you add 2 half teaspoons, namely 1 teaspoon, if you're a mathematical genius. Okay. Of cream of tartar and 1/2 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. You mix up all the dry ingredients. Then you take the linseeds or flax seeds which you've ground up and you've soaked with the water, and you add it to the mixture, and you gradually add water from the tap bit by bit, and whilst mixing it with a wooden spoon to get something which is not a bread dough. It's got to be, thinner than a bread dough, but not quite a pancake batter, okay? And you pour it into these things. These are pochette rings, and you use them for, frying eggs and trying to get them round like they have in McDonald's and that sort of thing, okay? But I'm going to grease the whole of this thing, this biscuit tin, with margarine. And I'm going to grease the insides of these things also with margarine. Pour the halfway between batter and halfway between dough into those things. Then I'm going to shove it into a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's Celsius because it's European type thing. Okay, we're crazy over here, we use Celsius. And then in about 45 minutes after that, I should have myself some bready buns. So I'm going to follow this recipe to the letter, and we'll see what we can get. Okay, that's the biscuit tray with the greased pochette rings. I've greased the tray, greased the rings. Over here, I've got the linseed mixed with water, and as you can see, it's already starting to get a bit gloopy. So that means it's going to become a good egg replacer. The longer it's left, leave it for 15 minutes ideally. We're not going to quite leave it for that long though. That's the oven that's being preheated. Tools I've used so far, but I'm going to use the cup measure soon. That's the tablespoon measure I used to measure out the linseed. This is the 1/2 teaspoon measure I'm going to use for the raising agents. And that's a banana I'm going to have for my dinner, for my dessert. Okay, there we go. So far so good. Okay, as I'm using three different flours, and I'm putting them in one after the other into the sieve, I might as well put 1 cups worth of flour in, add the raising agents, that's the bicarbonate of soda, that's the 2½ teaspoons of tartaric acid, cream of tartar, okay? And I'm then going to put the rest of the flour on top of there, so it can all start to get mixed in earlier, making it more likely that it'll all be mixed in, basically. Yeah, okay? That's all the dry ingredients mixed up. The flour comes out very slightly off-white, creamy white color. But once we've added and mixed in the linseed, very viscous now, there we go, that's going to get mixed in throughout the whole mixture, giving it an almost wholemeal type appearance. Okay, the oven's hot. That's going to become my buns, and let's shove them in the oven and see what happens. And then we'll speak to you again in about 45 minutes. Here we go. Okay, well, my 45 minutes is as good as up as I could be bothered to care for, so I just press the stop button on my timer, and we'll see what kind of wonders have appeared in the oven. Turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. Here we go. Oh, sugar. First thing you'll notice, them little buns are truly risen. Okay, it's 45 minutes worth of cooking. Grab myself a knife. Nice healthy crusts. Still a little sticky, but it might do.